2025 took some of the brightest lights from us. And as we remember these 30 incredible souls, we're not just mourning, we're celebrating. The stars who left us this year gave us laughter, tears, inspiration, and timeless memories that will live forever in our hearts. From the golden boy of Hollywood who founded Sundance, to the Prince of Darkness who rocked generations, to the neo-soul pioneer who changed music forever, these legends shaped the soundtrack and the story of our lives. And wait until you hear about number 1, a director whose vision changed cinema itself, whose work will inspire dreamers for generations to come. We're honoring 30 remarkable stars we lost in 2025, legends who shaped our culture, made us laugh, moved us to tears, and reminded us what it means to live fully and create beautifully. These weren't just celebrities. They were part of our lives, our childhoods, our family movie nights, the music that played during our first dance, the shows we couldn't wait to watch every week. I've spent weeks researching their lives, rewatching their greatest moments, reading tributes from fans who were touched by their work, and what I found was this: these 30 souls left us gifts that will never fade. So let's count down from 30 to 1, remembering each legend and what made them absolutely irreplaceable.
Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea.
Number 30 really touches the heart because this is someone who believed music could heal the world. Peter YARROW, who left us on January 7th at age 86, was 1/3 of Peter, Paul, and Mary, the folk trio that gave us Puff the Magic Dragon and Leaving on a Jet Plane. You probably remember singing along to Puff as a child, or maybe singing it to your own children. That song has traveled through generations, bringing magic and wonder to millions. But Peter was so much more than a musician. He dedicated his life to fighting bullying in schools, founding Operation Respect, and traveling to thousands of classrooms with his guitar, teaching children about kindness and empathy. What a gift he gave us. Not just melodies, but a message that we can make the world better. One song, one child, one act of kindness at a time. We'll always remember him for believing in the power of gentle hearts to change the world. Number 29, we remember a voice that could light up any room. Carlton, who passed away in December, gave us one of the most infectious songs of the 80s. She's a Bad Mama Jama. That song became an instant classic, and you can still hear it at weddings, parties, and anywhere people want to celebrate and dance. But Carl's career stretched back to the 70s with Everlasting Love, showing his incredible range from disco to R&B to funk. He had this smooth, charismatic delivery that made every performance feel personal, like he was singing just for you. The man won a Grammy nomination and sold millions of records, but he never lost that warmth and connection with his fans. Carl embodied the soul music tradition, music that comes from the heart and speaks to everyone's heart. We're so lucky we got to experience his joy and his groove.
Oh, yes, I can make it now. The pain is gone.
This one at number 28 brings such warmth to remember. Jimmy Cliff, who left us on November 24th at 81, was a true pioneer who brought reggae music to the world. He became a force of nature himself. His song, I Can See Clearly Now, is pure optimism in musical form. And The Harder They Come became an anthem of resilience. Jimmy wasn't just a musician. He was a cultural ambassador. He starred in the groundbreaking 1972 film, The Harder They Come, which introduced international audiences to Jamaican culture and reggae music. He won 2 Grammy Awards and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But what people remember most is his infectious smile and the way his music made you feel like everything would be all right. He received Jamaica's Order of Merit, the country's highest honor, because he represented hope, perseverance, and joy. His music continues to lift spirits around the world. That's a legacy of pure light. Number 27 hits different because he left us far too soon. RAUL, the lead singer of the Mavericks who passed away in December at just 60, had one of the most distinctive voices in country music. He and his band brought Latin influences into country, creating this beautiful fusion that nobody had quite done before. Songs like Dance the Night Away and All You Ever Do Is Bring Me Down showcased his powerful operatic voice. What made Raul special was his passion. Even facing health challenges, he continued performing because music wasn't just what he did, it was who he was. He won Grammy Awards, toured the world, and inspired a new generation of musicians to blend genres fearlessly. His band members remember him as someone who lit up every stage, every rehearsal, every moment. The music world lost a true innovator, but man, what extraordinary music he left behind for us to treasure forever.
She uses all the time to get choice assignments, the best cases. Me, they send to the airport to sniff packages.
At number 26, we celebrate someone who made millions laugh for decades. RUTH BUZZI, who passed away on May 1st at 88, was the Emmy-nominated comedian who became iconic on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In in the late 60s and early 70s. Her character Gladys Ormsby, the frumpy spinster with that famous purse she'd use to whack anyone who got too fresh, became beloved across America. But Ruth's talents went far beyond sketch comedy. She voiced characters in The Smurfs and Pound Puppies, bringing joy to children long after Laugh-In ended. She appeared in over 50 films and TV shows, always bringing that same sparkle, that same commitment to making people smile. What people who worked with her remember most is her kindness, her professionalism, and how she could make the entire crew laugh between takes. Ruth pioneered female comedy during a time when women had to fight for those opportunities. She showed everyone that funny has no limits. Number 25 reminds us that talent and warmth can coexist beautifully. Julian McMahon, who left us on July 2nd at 56, captivated audiences as the morally complex Dr. Christian Troy on Nip Tuck and as the charming half-demon Cole Turner on Charmed. You probably remember falling for Cole on Charmed. That chemistry with Alyssa Milano was electric, and Julian brought such depth to a character who struggled between darkness and love. His work on Nip Tuck showcased his range, playing a character who was vain and troubled, but also vulnerable and ultimately human. He also brought Dr. Doom to life in the Fantastic Four films. But what his co-stars remember most is his incredible kindness on set, his unyielding zest for life, and how he'd light up a room just by walking in. Julian worked with Ryan Murphy on multiple projects, and Murphy remembered him as someone who brought genuine joy to every production. We lost him too soon, but what a body of work he left behind, and what wonderful memories for everyone who knew him.
The end of the career and the end of the life is when you're I mean, there's no end. There's no end. It's too exciting. Life is too profoundly...
This one at number 24, Diane Keaton, who passed away on October 11th at 79, represents the loss of an absolute icon. She won an Oscar for Annie Hall, a role that made her a fashion icon and changed how women were portrayed in romantic comedies. That menswear-inspired style she rocked, women everywhere copied it, and it's still influential today. But Diane was so much more than Annie Hall. She starred in all 3 Godfather films as Kay, held her own in The First Wives Club with Goldie Hawn and Bette Midler, and brought warmth and humor to Something's Gotta Give. She showed us that women can be funny, smart, neurotic, stylish, and completely themselves all at once. She never tried to fit Hollywood's mold. She created her own. What made Diane special was her authenticity. She talked openly about aging, about staying single, about doing things her own way. She inspired women to embrace their quirks, wear what makes them happy, and live life on their own terms. She gave us laughter, she gave us style, and she gave us permission to be exactly who we are. Number 23 is Brian Wilson, who left us on June 11th at 82. The genius behind the Beach Boys and the creator of Pet Sounds, one of the most influential albums ever made. Brian co-founded the Beach Boys with his brothers and gave us the soundtrack of California Dreaming, Good Vibrations, Wouldn't It Be Nice, God Only Knows, Surfin' USA, songs that defined the 60s and still sound fresh today. But Brian's story is also one of incredible resilience. He battled health struggles and substance issues for decades, yet continued creating beautiful music and performing for fans who loved him. Paul McCartney called God Only Knows one of the greatest songs ever written, and said it often brought him to tears. Bruce Springsteen, Elton John, and countless musicians cite Brian as a major influence. What Brian taught us is that beauty can emerge from pain, that vulnerability is strength, and that music really is a divine gift. His revolutionary recording techniques changed how albums were made. The world feels different without him, but his music will live forever in our hearts and on every sunny day when we need to feel that California joy.
I heard he sang a good song. I heard he had a style.
At number 22, we honor Roberta Flack, who passed away on February, the legendary singer with that velvet voice who gave us The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. Those songs became the soundtrack to countless first dances, proposals, and moments of pure romance. Roberta was a classically trained musician who demanded artistic control in an era when that wasn't common for Black women in music. She won 5 Grammy Awards, including making history by winning Record of the Year 2 years in a row. But beyond the accolades, what made Roberta special was the emotion in every note. She didn't just sing words, she told stories that reached into your soul. She founded the Roberta Flack Foundation to support music education for underprivileged youth and animal welfare. Even after losing her ability to sing, she continued advocating, using her platform to help others. She showed us that grace and strength aren't opposites. they're partners. We're so grateful we got to hear that beautiful voice, to feel those emotions, to have the soundtrack she provided for our most intimate moments. Number 21 is Sly Stone, who left us on June 9th at 82. The architect of funk whose band Sly and the Family Stone created anthems of unity like Everyday People and celebration like Dance to the Music. Sly didn't just make music, he made history. His was the first major American rock band with a racially integrated male and female lineup, proving that diversity creates richer, funkier, more beautiful sound. Their legendary performance at Woodstock of I Want to Take You Higher had the massive crowd in absolute ecstasy. Sly blended soul, rock, psychedelia, and funk in ways nobody had done before, and his influence lives on in everyone from Prince to Outkast to Bruno Mars. Despite decades of personal struggles, his musical DNA is everywhere in modern music. What Sly gave us was proof that music can break down barriers, that different voices harmonizing together create something magical, and that funk isn't just a sound. It's a way of celebrating life and bringing people together. The world became a little less funky without him, but his groove will never stop. Number 19 is Leslie Charleson, who left us on January 12th at 79, after nearly 50 years playing Monica Quartermain on General Hospital, making her the longest tenured cast member in the show's history. Think about that, almost 5 decades of bringing Monica to life, making her family's triumphs and tragedies feel real to millions of viewers. Monica owned the Quartermain mansion, served as chief of staff at General Hospital, and had that complicated relationship with ex-husband Alan that kept fans invested for decades. What made Leslie special was her dedication. She showed up, she brought depth to every scene, and she became a beloved matriarch both to the Quartermain family and to the entire cast and crew. Soap operas don't get the respect they deserve, but they're where actors show up every single day and give their all. And Leslie did that for half a century. The world of daytime drama lost its heart when we lost Leslie. At number 18, we remember George Wendt, who passed away on May 20th at 76. Norm Peterson from Cheers, the character who became synonymous with friendship, loyalty, and that third place where everybody knows your name. George appeared in all 275 episodes of that beloved sitcom, and every time he walked into the bar and everyone shouted Norm, it felt like home. He earned 6 consecutive Emmy nominations for playing Norm, but he never let success change who he was. George was a product of Chicago's Second City Comedy Theater, and he brought that improvisational warmth and genuine humanity to everything he did. He later appeared on Broadway in Hairspray and Art, showing his versatility. What people who worked with George remember most is his kindness, his humor, and his collaborative spirit. He made everyone around him better. He showed us that the everyman character can be just as important and just as beloved as the star, because sometimes what we need most is a friendly face and a warm greeting. We all need a Norm in our lives, and George gave that gift to millions. Number 17 is Loretta Swit, who left us on May 30th at 87. Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan on MASH, a character who evolved from one-dimensional to one of television's most complex, compelling women. Loretta won 2 Emmy Awards and received 8 nominations for that role, but what's truly remarkable is how she fought the writers to let Margaret grow and change. Over 11 seasons, we watched Margaret transform from a strict, by-the-book officer to a fully realized person with dreams, disappointments, and depth. Loretta showed us that characters can evolve, that women in uniform can be both tough and vulnerable, and that it's never too late for growth. That famous MASH finale where she tearfully salutes Hawkeye goodbye, that was Loretta bringing genuine emotion to a moment millions still remember. Beyond acting, Loretta dedicated her life to animal rights, founding the Sweetheart Animal Alliance and becoming a passionate vegan long before it was mainstream. She used her art. She was a talented watercolor artist who painted animals to raise awareness for creatures without voices. Loretta showed us that compassion extends to all living beings and that strong women can change TV forever.
Justine is gonna hate you for this.
Why?
Because once she spends an evening in this limousine with us, the rest of her life is downhill.
This one at number 16, Malcolm-Jamal Warner, who left us on July 20th at just 54, is especially heartbreaking because he left us far too soon. As Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, Malcolm was the son America watched grow up. We saw him struggle with dyslexia, graduate college, and become a man. He was part of our families for 8 seasons, but Malcolm refused to be defined by one role. He evolved into a Grammy-winning musician, playing bass and performing spoken word poetry. He appeared in Malcolm and Eddie, The Resident, and numerous other shows. always choosing meaningful projects. He established the Malcolm-Jamal Warner Creative Legacy Fund to support young artists, emphasizing that art isn't about fitting into lines, it's about authentic expression. What made Malcolm special was his intelligence, his artistic integrity, and his commitment to using his platform to lift others up. He represented a bridge between wholesome 80s television and complex artistic expression. He showed young Black men that you can be smart, artistic, vulnerable, and strong all at once. We lost him way too soon, but the legacy he built in 54 years is remarkable. Number 15 is Ace Frehley, who passed away on October 16th at 74, the founding guitarist of Kiss, the band that turned rock concerts into theatrical spectacles. Ace invented the persona of the spaceman, Space Ace, complete with the silver makeup and cosmic guitar solos that became legendary. He played with Kiss from 1973 to 1982 during their most iconic period. Think about those smoking guitars, the pyrotechnics, the platform boots. Kiss didn't just play rock and roll, they created an entire experience. Ace's guitar work on songs like Cold Gin and his solo Shock Me showcased his talent, and his solo album New York Groove became a massive hit. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2014 as part of Kiss. What Ace represented was the idea that rock and roll should be larger than life, that music can be both serious and fun, and that individuality matters. Even after leaving Kiss, he continued creating music on his own terms. He showed us that you can leave something huge and still forge your own path. Rock and roll lost one of its most distinctive voices. At number 14, we honor Rob Reiner, who left us on December 14th at 78, the director and actor who gave us some of the most quotable movies ever made. Starting as Meathead on All in the Family, where he won 2 Emmys, Rob went on to direct masterpieces. This is Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, A Few Good Men. Think about those films. You can't handle the truth. I'll have what she's having. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. Inconceivable. Rob directed the movies that became part of our everyday language, the films we quote without even thinking about it. He and Nora Ephron essentially invented the modern romantic comedy with When Harry Met Sally. Beyond filmmaking, Rob was a fierce advocate for social justice, championing early childhood education and marriage equality. He used his platform to fight for people who needed a voice. His final interviews showed a man who believed deeply in truth, justice, and the power of storytelling to make the world better.
D'Angelo!
Number 13 really hurts. D'Angelo, the neo-soul pioneer who left us on October 14th at just 51.
From the music world, R&B legend D'Angelo has passed.
Born Michael Eugene Archer, he discovered music playing piano in his father's church and went on to revolutionize R&B and soul music. His debut album, Brown Sugar, in 1995 was groundbreaking, but Voodoo in 2000 changed everything. That song, Untitled, How Does It Feel?, a single-shot video became iconic. But beyond the headlines, D'Angelo's artistry influenced everyone from Beyoncé to Tyler, the Creator, to Frank Ocean. He won 4 Grammys and was nominated 14 times. What made D'Angelo special was his artistic integrity. He never compromised his vision for commercial success. He blended funk, jazz, hip-hop, and soul in ways that felt both timeless and ahead of their time. He showed us that vulnerability is powerful, that sensuality and spirituality can coexist, and that real artistry takes time.
I'm an actor, I'm doing a job. I'll do the best I can do with whatever they give me.
I don't tell you how to run your life, so don't tell me how to run mine, okay?
I wasn't, I just...
Enough small talk!
Number 12 is Anthony Geary, who passed away on December 14th at 78. Luke Spencer from General Hospital, a character he played for 37 years. Think about that longevity, nearly 4 decades bringing Luke to life, making fans care about his adventures, his romances, his redemption. Anthony won 8 Daytime Emmy Awards, a record that still stands. Luke and Laura's wedding in 1981 was watched by 30 million people. At the time, the highest-rated hour in daytime TV history. Anthony took what could have been a simple soap opera character and made him complex, flawed, funny, and ultimately human. He had that rare ability to hold the screen with charisma while also bringing vulnerability to dramatic scenes. Daytime television lost one of its greatest stars, but Anthony's legacy lives on in every actor who brings depth to serialized storytelling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to me, to us, country music is no geography, you know. So and you have fans all over.
We come back to Raul Malo and the Mavericks at number 11 because their influence deserves deeper recognition. Raul didn't just bring Latin rhythms to country music. He proved that tradition and innovation aren't opposites, they're partners. The Mavericks' 13 albums showcased everything from Cuban rhythms to rock and roll to traditional country.
I wanna go across the river to the house on Old Way Road.
All anchored by Raul's incredible voice. Raul wanted nothing more than to perform at the tribute shows staged in his honor at the Ryman Auditorium. He received the American Eagle Award from the National Music Council. But what meant most to him was connecting with fans through music. The Mavericks proved you don't have to fit in one box. That fusion isn't dilution, it's celebration. Raul's passion for music transcended language and genre, bringing people together through pure joy. At number 10, we celebrate Chuck Mangione, who left us on July 22nd at 84. The jazz musician who gave us Feels So Good, one of the biggest instrumental crossover hits of all time. That song from 1977 hit number 2 on the Billboard chart and is still instantly recognizable today. The moment you hear that flugelhorn, you're transported. Chuck recorded over 30 albums and won 2 Grammy Awards. Best Instrumental Composition in 1977 and Best Pop Instrumental Performance in 1979. But what made Chuck special beyond his technical brilliance was his accessibility. He made jazz feel warm and inviting. He later became a voice actor on King of the Hill, introducing new generations to his music. Chuck was inducted into the Rochester Music Hall of Fame in 2012. But his real legacy is how many people discovered jazz through Feels So Good. He proved that instrumental music could be popular, that jazz wasn't just for purists, and that a beautiful melody transcends all boundaries. The world lost a master musician, but man, what a feel-good legacy he left behind.
Hulk Hogan!
You are looking at the new king of professional wrestling.
Number 9 is Hulk Hogan, who passed away on July 24th at 71, the man who brought professional wrestling to mainstream America. Born Terry Bollea, Hulk became the face of WWE in the 1980s with his distinctive blonde mustache, colorful headbands, and that 24-inch python's flexing pose. He wasn't just a wrestler, he was a cultural phenomenon. Hulk claimed his first WWE championship by defeating the Iron Sheik in 1984 and headlined the first ever WrestleMania in 1985. He won 6 world championships total and was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame twice, once as an individual in 2005 and again as a member of the NWO in 2020. He appeared in movies like Rocky III and had his own reality show, Hogan Knows Best. What Hulk represented was larger-than-life charisma, the belief that good could triumph over evil, and the power of connecting with audiences. Say what you will about professional wrestling. Hulk Hogan made millions of people believe in heroes, in comeback stories, and in the power of never giving up. His showmanship and his heart brought joy to multiple generations.
Aloha, I'm Richard Chamberlain. You might remember me from the Thornbirds or Dr. Kildare.
At number 8, we honor Richard Chamberlain, who left us on March 29th at 90. Dr. Kildare, who became the king of the miniseries, with Shogun and the Thornbirds. Richard's career spanned 6 decades, beginning with the medical drama Dr. Kildare that made him a household name in the 1960s. But it was those epic miniseries that defined him. Shogun, in 1980, showcased his dramatic range, while The Thornbirds in 1983 made him the ultimate object of forbidden desire as Father Ralph. He won 3 Golden Globes and earned 4 Emmy nominations. For a generation of women, Richard represented the ultimate romantic ideal. Handsome, sensitive, complex. Richard taught us that vulnerability is strength and that living your truth matters more than protecting an image.
Well, I don't know.
Number 7 is John Sykes, who passed away on January 21st at 65. The electrifying guitarist who rocked with Thin Lizzy and Whitesnake. John co-wrote Whitesnake's massive hits, Is This Love? And Still of the Night, songs that defined the hair metal era of the 80s. His guitar solos were legendary, emotional, technical, and absolutely explosive. Before Whitesnake, John played with Thin Lizzy, co-writing Cold Sweat on their final album Thunder and Lightning. He later formed his own band and performed with the touring version of Thin Lizzy for over a decade. His last projects included 4 solo albums showing his evolution as an artist. What made John special was his dedication to the craft of guitar playing. He wasn't just flash, he had substance, emotion, and that rare ability to make his guitar sing. He continued performing despite health challenges because music was his life. Rock and roll lost one of its most talented guitarists, but those solos will echo forever.
Even though we have a live audience on Cheers, we can always stop the cameras and,
We return to George Wendt at number 6 because Cheers deserves deeper appreciation. For 11 seasons from 1982 to 1993, that show gave us a place where everybody knew our names. George's Norm represented something profound, the importance of community, the value of that third place between home and work where we can just be ourselves. Every entrance, Norm, was a celebration of belonging. The show won 28 Emmy Awards out of 117 nominations. It starred Ted Danson, Shelley Long, Kelsey Grammer, Kirstie Alley, Woody Harrelson, but Norm was the heart. George brought such warmth and authenticity to that bar stool, making Norm feel like our friend, our neighbor, the guy we'd want to grab a beer with. Cheers represented a gentler time, when sitcoms could take their time with character development, when jokes didn't need to be rapid fire, when we could just spend time with people we loved. George embodied all of that. The world needs more Norms, and we were blessed to have George give us that gift.
I'm playing frivolous roles just to sit on and stand on the stage.
Number 5 is Val Kilmer, who left us on April 1st at 65. The versatile actor who gave us Iceman in Top Gun, Jim Morrison in The Doors, Doc Holliday in Tombstone, and Batman in Batman Forever. Val was that rare actor who could play the cool antagonist, the rock legend, the Western hero, and the caped crusader, and make each feel unique. But Val's greatest role might have been playing himself in the documentary Val in 2021, which gave us a raw, honest look at his battle with health issues. After losing his voice, Val didn't retreat. He continued acting, used AI technology to recreate his voice, and appeared in Top Gun Maverick in a poignant cameo opposite Tom Cruise. What made Val special was his dedication to craft. He was known for intense method acting. He learned to play piano and sing like Jim Morrison. He became a gunfighter for Tombstone. But he also showed us incredible courage in facing illness publicly, in continuing to create despite physical limitations. Val taught us that your voice is more than sound. It's the expression of your soul, and nothing can take that away.
People, which I have a lot of confidence in. I really do. I think times have changed. And young people now are looking to do something.
At number 4, we honor Robert Redford, who passed away on September 16th at 89, the golden boy of Hollywood whose striking looks and immense talent defined multiple generations of cinema. From Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid to The Sting, Robert played characters who were charming, complicated, and completely unforgettable. But Robert's greatest legacy might be the Sundance Film Festival. He founded it to give independent filmmakers a platform, and it launched the careers of Quentin Tarantino, Paul Thomas Anderson, Steven Soderbergh, and countless others. He won the Oscar for Best Director for his debut film Ordinary People, and received the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2016. What made Robert special was that despite being one of the most handsome men to ever grace the screen, he used his platform to champion environmental causes, to preserve Utah's natural beauty, and to nurture young talent. He showed us that movie stardom is a responsibility, not just a privilege. Meryl Streep said, "One of the lions has passed." Jane Fonda said, "Bob made a real difference." His legacy lives in every independent film that finds its voice.
You look better in person than you do on... I don't know if that's a compliment. Did they say that to you?
Number 3 is Gene Hackman, who tragically passed along with his wife at 95, one of Hollywood's greatest actors, with an incredible 80-film career spanning 6 decades. Two-time Oscar winner for The French Connection and Unforgiven, Gene could play brutal anti-heroes, vulnerable characters, and everything in between with equal mastery. Think about his range. The obsessive detective Popeye Doyle, the villain Lex Luthor in Superman, the surveillance expert in The Conversation, the sheriff in Unforgiven. Gene appeared in The Poseidon Adventure, Mississippi Burning, Crimson Tide, The Royal Tenenbaums. He elevated every single project he touched. What made Gene remarkable was his blue-collar authenticity, despite being cinema royalty. He was known for mentoring younger actors and his dedication to craft, despite his disdain for Hollywood glamour. He retired from acting in 2004 to pursue novel writing, which better suited his solitary nature. He showed us that great actors can work with depth and creativity well into their later years. Gene demonstrated that you don't need to be flashy to be unforgettable. You just need to be real, committed, and willing to disappear into every character.
Psoriasis, which is a wonderful thing to have around this time of the year. Now, would you believe we're ready to go home? My son has it.
At number 2, we remember Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness who passed away on July 22nd at 76. Just weeks after his emotional Final Bow concert at Villa Park with Black Sabbath. Born John Michael Osbourne, Ozzy pioneered heavy metal with Black Sabbath in the late 1960s, creating songs like Paranoid and War Pigs that defined a genre. His solo career brought us Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley, anthems for multiple generations. But what many people loved most was getting to know Ozzy the Family Man through The Osbournes reality show. We saw him shuffle around confused by the remote control, loving his dogs, struggling with technology, the Prince of Darkness was also just a dad trying his best. Sharon Osbourne and their children remember him as a devoted husband and grandfather who brought that same infectious energy to family life that he brought to the stage. Ozzy showed us that you can be both the wildest rock star and the most loving father. He proved that heavy metal has heart. Sir Elton John, Ronnie Wood, and musicians worldwide mourn the loss, sharing the immortal words, "Ozzy forever." His music will continue to rock for generations to come.
When I first started what later became Inland Empire.
Number 1 is David Lynch, who left us on January 15th at 78, the visionary director who gave us Twin Peaks, Blue Velvet, Mulholland Drive, and Eraserhead. David didn't just make movies, he created entire worlds where dreams and nightmares intertwined, where mystery and beauty danced together, where nothing was quite as it seemed. Steven Spielberg called him one of his heroes. 3 Oscar nominations and an honorary Academy Award recognized his genius. That opening of Twin Peaks with the waterfall and theme music became instantly iconic. His work influenced everyone from Denis Villeneuve to Ari Aster to every filmmaker who dares to be different. But David was more than a filmmaker. He founded the David Lynch Foundation to bring transcendental meditation to at-risk youth, veterans with PTSD, and survivors of domestic violence. He believed in peace from the inside out, in quiet time for children, in healing through consciousness. David taught us that art doesn't have to make immediate sense to be powerful. He showed us that subconscious matters, that mystery can be beautiful, that following your vision, even when nobody else gets it, is the only way to create something truly original. He said, "I believe ideas come from somewhere outside of us." David, your ideas touched millions and will inspire dreamers forever. His loss reminds us to cherish the artists who refuse to compromise, who trust their vision, who create worlds we never knew we needed to see. What incredible gifts they left behind. Every laugh, every tear, every moment of inspiration, every song that moved us, every performance that made us feel something real. That's forever. We got to live in their time, experience their art, feel their impact. These 30 souls showed us what it means to create fearlessly, to live authentically, to touch lives through their gifts. They reminded us to chase our dreams, embrace our quirks, age gracefully, spread joy, and leave the world better than we found it. That's not just a legacy, that's a roadmap for how to live. Honor these incredible legacies by subscribing. Let's keep celebrating the icons who shaped our world and the timeless memories they gave us that will live in our hearts forever.